We turn our attention to the Cavaliers. They open up the season tonight, Madison Square Garden against the Knicks. No Max Strus, no Darius Garland. ESPN's national NBA analyst Brian Windhorst with his thoughts on how Kenny Atkinson could handle the rotation.
They are a bigger roster this year, Chris. And I think you are going to see Kenny Atkinson make some decisions that lean more into size. And so he has better backup big men options than he did a year ago. Larry Nance can play 4 or 5. And Thomas Bryant, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Thomas Bryant is like going to be a transformational player. Thomas Bryant can play rotation minutes at center. And there may be stretches where he doesn't play. He was playing rotation minutes in the finals last year for the Pacers. There were moments where he was very effective in the playoffs. And when the Cavs signed him, I was surprised they were able to get him. And I called his agent, Mark Bartelstein, and I go, "Hey, how'd this happen?" He's like, I thought Thomas would have a bigger market, but he wanted to go play for a team that he thought could win it, have a chance to win it all again. And they have to protect themselves a little bit because Larry Nance does have a long injury history, but they can play. Obviously, their starting lineup has always had that size with Allen and Mobley. They now can mix and match with size throughout their rotation.
Let's welcome in Sam Amico from hoopswire.com as well as Full Court Cleveland. Sam, what about it? What are you paying attention to early in the year with the Cavs?
Yeah, I think without Garland, obviously, for the first at least few weeks, how is the offense running? How is Lonzo Ball fitting in? Obviously, it sounds like he's going to be worked in slowly, not going to be playing 40 minutes, in other words. But, they're going to need him, Donovan Mitchell, to run the offense. How is Sam Merrill looking in terms of, potentially starting quite a bit while Strus is out? Obviously, DeAndre Hunter starting a lot. And as Brian Windhorst said, they're going to be bigger than they were last year. I really like what they did this offseason. On paper, Lonzo Ball, if he can stay on the floor, if Larry Nance Jr. can stay on the floor, and then Thomas Bryant, as Brian Windhorst said, gives you kind of that, that third center power forward type that has won a championship in Denver, played in a championship last year in the finals with the Pacers, and gives you that experience. So to me, I think that all of those things are what I'll be watching early, but particularly the 3 new guys.
We keep hearing, or we've heard, the tweaks to their style of play. So not overhauling it, but tweaks. What do you expect to see relative to the way they changed how they play?
Yeah, I think more than anything, we're going to see a more use of the bench early, more use of reserves, which Kenny Atkinson, I thought, did a phenomenal job with that last season in keeping the bench and the rotation and not forcing too many minutes for guys like Mitchell and Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. I think we're going to see even more of that. You feel, if you're the Cavs, that yes, we have more experience, we have more size, and when everybody's healthy, when Garland's there and Strus is there, and you have most of your pieces, I just think the style of play is going to be very similar, but I just think that they're going to utilize their reserves even more, particularly until you get to the All-Star break in February, just to try to keep guys fresh and healthy for when it matters most.